Hi, I'm Amod, and my project for this class is a text editor. I've always been very particular about text editors on any platform since I was like 7 years old and started using WordStar. I want them to work in particular ways, and I get annoyed when they don't. So ever since I've got a mobile device, I've been using Evernote. Evernote's great for some things. It synchronizes with your across computers quite well. But while it does that, it keeps everything in its own cloud storage where you can't get to it without exporting it. So it doesn't play well with other tools. It doesn't sync to your file system. If you want to search your files for where you put something, you have to search Evernote separately. I hate that. I also tend to do a lot of my writing in journals, and I like to have my journal entries numbered and numbered automatically. That's something that Evernote doesn't do. So I wanted a program that would synchronize from my mobile phone to somewhere else and would also auto number but synchronize everything in a standard easily readable file format. I chose XHTML. So the program that I built is called Brouillon, which is a French word for a rough copy. It was the name that 19th century intellectuals used for the notebook they carried around with them. That's basically the functionality that I want. And I thought that would be a great name because I am pretentious and Canadian. So here's how it works. I'll walk you through. First screen, this is where you select the note that you want to view. And these are all the notes that I've already created during testing. You can see how they're auto-numbered in order from 1 to 25. And if I go up here to push a new note, you can see it creates the next one in sequence, 26. So I can do a swipe keyboard here, say hello, got autocorrect, and then I push done, and it takes me back to the first screen, and it gives me a toast telling me that it uploaded it to my file server. You can also go back, edit one of the notes that was already there, and go back and say done, and it saves it as well, uploads it to the file server. The one other screen that I have, which I didn't think I would need at first, but then I realized I would, is a screen here that lets me set the password to that file server. Because if I didn't have that, then I would have had to hard code the password into my program code that I submitted to the professor and the TA. And, you know, they're great guys. I don't really want them having access to my file server. So that's the program. What went right, what went wrong? The easy parts were the keyboard stuff, like the autocomplete and swipe. I had those as nice to-dos, but they got in there very easily just because I didn't have to do anything. As soon as I had the text entry, they worked. Also, XHTML markup, having it do that automatically was really not any trouble. What was hard was the file upload, file sync, getting it to work with the server. Partially because of the peculiarities of my server, it's fairly tight about security, which I suppose in general is a good thing. But you know, that means that after like 2 bad password attempts, it locks you out. It also locks you out if you log in from more than one source at a time, which means from your phone and from your emulator. So a number of times it would just hang for half an hour or more because as a lockout, and I would be sitting there not being able to code anything more for the FTP. I also tried for a little while to do HTTP instead of FTP and found out that that was even harder. I looked around for documentation on how to upload the file to the server using HTTP and couldn't find anything. I asked Eric about it. He said even he didn't know. So I went back to FTP. That took up a bunch of time. But I got it all taken care of, synced. And then what I learned from all of this, I learned how to do FTP connectivity, learned how to get stuff across the network, learned how to do data storage in both the file system and in shared preferences where the password goes more securely, learned how to do the text editing. Also learned that specification is really hard. There are all these things that you want your program to do that you don't even realize that you want it to do. For example, I didn't know that I wanted the files to be in numerical order. I mean, I knew that, I just hadn't thought about it until I realized that they weren't.